Kutoka, alo. Hey, mambo vipi, my lovely audience. How are you doing tonight? Well, I hope you had a fantastic week. Well, mimi sasa niko hapa sasa to make sure we start the weekend on a high. Alo. Thank you so much for joining us here on this Friday with me, Betty Kialo. And of course, this is TV 47. Asante sana mpenzi mtazamaji kwa kuwa nasi jioni ya leo. Kidogo nitaenda 7 p.m. news. Tonight we have a fantastic show for you, of course. We have the legend, the star, Nikki Kwach. Mimi namtanga tu Nikki, lakini Nick Kwach, of course, is going to be joining us here on set. Amekuja mapema, lakini tunamwekelea microphone saa hizi. Amechangamka. Ingia. Hebu kuja tukuone. 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 Hey, wewe, check you, man.
What up like that? Kwani unani sengenya? Are you sengenyaring me? What's going on?
Unakafiti. Salimia sewako.
What's up? When you see me, you know it's a good time. I am here with Betty.
Omera. Hebu niambie kitu. Hebu just introduce the show.
Yes.
Yeah.
Koro enango nyakura mogajuan kamara maintie sani kore neno this Friday by Betty Chalo, and also in Kodaka. You know, when you're speaking Dolo, you have to throw in some Kizungu in there so that it gets people going.
Like moto.
Nyakura mogajuan kata in Kisumo, in Kibira, in Kawangware, in Siaya, in Game, in Kanye,
in Kitui,
in Kitui, in Wiki, in Mwingi, in Mombasa.
Oh, I love the energy, bro. Nice to see you. Finally, we've met.
Yes.
By the please, baby mamas, sino baya. Mimi nakuja tu host show. It's so nice to have you here. Of course, Nick Kwach, man, umefanya kazi poa.
Thank you so much.
Unangangana huko.
Yes.
And you're doing such a great job.
I'm one of the few men who are suffering publicly.
And we normally see it. Like you ulisema ati kama mtu ana gari ya 15 million hiyo si gari. Wewe kwenda huko. All right, so you know what? We have a fantastic show. Willis Ocheng is also going to be joining us from Kisii County, but maneno ya kwanza ni maneno ya habari. Let's start with the highlights. Hey, good job. Good.
The Ministry of Health has confirmed over 314 Mpox cases reported in 22 counties since the outbreak began in July 2024. DCI officers have arrested police officer Hiram Kimathi at his home in Kambakia, Meru County, following alleged links to the controversial anti-brutality group.
Hatujui mahali wamempeleka. Tumefuatilia, hajapelekwa, hajafikishwa Kambakia police station ambayo ndio police station iko karibu na hapa, hajapelekwa Meru police station ambayo ndio police station nyingine iko karibu na hapa.
As Kenya's elderly population grows, many old people, especially in rural areas, suffer neglect due to limited care facilities, weak legal protections, and insufficient support. We bring you the untold stories tonight.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on this Friday with me, Betty Kialo. So happy to actually have you join us here on the show. Our sign language interpreter is Catherine Simaloi. Let's now begin, of course, with the top stories tonight. And the country is facing a growing public health concern as the Ministry of Health confirms a surge in Mpox infections. According to official data, more than 300 cases have been confirmed nationwide, with 5 deaths reported since July 2024. Now, health officials have tracked 422 people who have had contact with infected individuals, and 15 of them have also tested positive. Now, so far, 314 cases have been recorded in 22 counties. Mombasa tops the list with 146 cases, followed by Busia with 63, Nakuru 21, Kilifi 19, and Nairobi 17. The government is urging the public to maintain proper hygiene and seek medical attention if they notice any symptoms.
from Ban Forest, from up to Mombasa, up to Malava. We will do a lot of civic education, barazas with our leaders, our governors. From next week, my PS will go to Malava border post. She will go to Mombasa to make sure that we have told the country, the citizens what to do so that they are not infected with mpox.
All right, now moving on, the Kenya National Union of Nurses has announced plans for a nationwide strike starting August 8th, 2025 in Nairobi. Now, the union says it has been pushed to the edge by ongoing neglect from the Ministry of Health. As Laban Shikokoti reports from Kisumu, the union officials have expressed their frustration, stating that the government has repeatedly failed to honor agreements made with healthcare workers. Now, they insist they've been left with no other option but to down their tools, despite the impact this actually will have on the country's health system. Take a look.
Solidarity forever, for the union makes us strong.
Among their demands are salary increases, promotion for nurses who've been stagnating in the same position for years, and the hiring of adequate staff to ease the workload. KNUN stated that current situation has severely affected healthcare delivery, especially in public hospitals, and that the strike is a last resort to save a collapsing health sector.
So we are saying enough is enough. We have been toasted and taken round for long. 8 years down the line, the governors, the Council of Governors, SRC, are telling us that we should continue rotating. We have rotated enough, and the nurses have advised us that enough is enough, and they are not going to take any more unreasonable excuses.
The union has also called on religious leaders to intervene and pressure both the county and national government to honor the agreement made with KNUN. This, as they say, religious leaders hold a unique position to foster dialogue and ensure nurses' rights are upheld.
The counties have decided to be very canny, and they are almost cornish. As nurses, we are not happy about this because the things we are asking for are things that has been there and have been with us for a very long time.
The union also strongly criticized the county government for contributing to dire condition nurses face, saying many counties have failed to prioritize the welfare of health sector workers. They have stressed that the strike will not be called off until the government takes a concrete step to address their grievances. Laban Shikokoti, TV47, Kisumu.
All right, now moving on, Transport Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen has moved to reassure Kenyan traders in Tanzania that their safety and livelihoods are secure, even as Tanzania enforces new restrictions on foreigners, of course, who are doing businesses here in Kenya. We'll be having that story shortly. But moving on to another top story tonight, Trans Nzoia Governor George Natembeya has firmly denied claims that he has left the Democratic Action Party Kenya, DAPK, to form a new political outfit. Now, this follows a petition submitted by some party members alleging he had created a new party. While speaking to the press, Natembeya dismissed the claims as baseless and said the party's National Executive Council will investigate the source and truth of these reports. As Chichi Josephine now tells us, the wrangles expose widening cracks within the DAPK ranks.
Wrangles within the Democratic Action Party of Kenya, led by Eugene Wamalwa, continue to escalate. Speaking to the media after a National Management Committee meeting, DAPK party leader Eugene Wamalwa, alongside a section of party members, revealed that they had received a petition alleging that Governor Natembeya had formed his own political party.
That is one of the petitions that have been brought, because we've heard of a party called CORD. If there is evidence that he has registered that and maybe promoted the ideas of a party other than the party that elected him, the consequences are clear legally.
In response, Governor Natembeya dismissed the claims challenging the petitioners to provide evidence. The governor has clarified that he is advocating for the rebranding of DAPK, not abandoning it.
Can they produce evidence kama nimeunda chama? Unajua mambo ya watu kupayuka na kuongea na mnaende sasa tutaki kwa chama. As leaders we need to be very serious people. Tuaje mambo ya rumor mongering na fitina. Mtu akisema Natembeya ameunda chama atakileta hapa. DAP is a very strong party. It's firm. We want just to make it, to rebrand it, to make it better, to make it bigger.
Natembeya further emphasized that party members have the right to choose leaders they believe best represent the party's vision, and said he would not impose himself on the party.
The members ndio wataamua direction gani chama kinatakana kwenda, na waone kama within the membership ya chama who can steer the new vision of the party.
Following deliberations by the party's National Management Committee, members acknowledged the existence of internal disputes but affirmed their commitment to resolving them internally and democratically.
So we have a mechanism of dispute resolution. So we are telling our members and supporters not to be troubled. We are handling these things and we'll be able to resolve these disputes.
Chichi, Josephine TV 47, Nairobi.
All right, thanks, Chichi, for that. Let's now move on to other breaking news. And the Transport Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen has moved to reassure Kenyan traders in Tanzania that their safety and livelihoods are secure, even as Tanzania enforces new restrictions on foreigners doing business. Now, speaking in Kajiado on Friday, Murkomen addressed growing concerns sparked by Tanzania's decision to ban foreigners from engaging in 15 types of small-scale businesses. The policy change announced earlier this week has stirred anxiety among cross-border traders who fear being pushed out. Now, Murkomen emphasized that diplomatic engagement is ongoing and urgent Kenyan traders don't need to actually panic. All right, let's now take a look at other top stories tonight. And of course, it's still on Murkomen. Let's just have that story come in, of course, as prepared by our reporters.
Barely a day after politician Reuben Kigame filed a case against Interior CS Kipchumba Murkomen, Inspector General of Police Douglas Kanja and DCI boss Mohamed Amin, accusing them of unleashing excessive force on civilian population during anti-government protests, CS Kipchumba Murkomen has come out downplaying the move. The CS saying that the police acted within the provisions of the law while handling anti-government protests, adding that he would not be deterred in defending the country's security officers.
I want to say that I am very confident and clear in my mind that myself and the IG and the team have worked diligently within the Constitution, within the confines of the Constitution, to defend this nation. And given another chance like that, we will do the same to make sure that this country is safe.
Murkomen, who spoke in Kajiado County, has dismissed critics, stating that he was ready to face any legal battle that would be brought forth on grounds of police conduct, the CS adding that the police service shall continue to operate within the law.
We will not allow our country to become an experimental place for anarchists to want to subvert the Constitution, to want to meet terror on the people of Kenya and to get away with it just because some people want to scare us with ICC. Please scare somebody else, not the people who know the law.
The Cabinet Secretary also assured the country of tight security ahead of the African Nations Championship Games set to begin tomorrow until 30th of August.
Kwanza tumeweka CCTV cameras ya kisasa ya kuhakikisha tunaangalia sehemu zote kuona kwamba mhalifu yoyote aweze akaribu Africa Cup of Nations. Pia tumepanga mambo ya jinsi ambavyo watu wataingia na kuondoka na kutoka. Pia katika uwanja na kutoka uwanja tumeweka systems ya kutosha.
Arnold Adidi, TV47.
All right, now Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen has moved to reassure Kenyan traders in Tanzania that their safety and livelihoods are secure, even as Tanzania forces new restrictions on foreigners doing business. While speaking in Kajiado on Friday, Murkomen addressed growing concerns sparked by Tanzania's decision to ban foreigners from engaging in 15 types of small-scale businesses. The policy change announced earlier this week has stirred anxiety among cross-border traders who fear being pushed out. Murkomen emphasized that the diplomatic engagement is ongoing and urged Kenyan traders not to panic.
Barely a day after politician Reuben Kigame filed a case against Interior CS.
There is nothing to retaliate against because these are things that can be handled by governments, the two governments. So I believe that Kenyans are safe in Tanzania, just like Tanzanians are safe in Kenya. And not just Tanzanians, we host even here refugees. And many other countries many other citizens from many other countries in the world. We are currently running Pamoja football tournament and CHAN, the three countries. We are having free movements across the three countries, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. This weekend, and for the next 1 month, we believe that we'll be celebrating and enjoying football together. People going to Dar es Salaam, coming back to Nairobi, going to Kampala. So I think we are in good shape as a country. There is no cause for alarm. Everybody's safe in Kenya, safe in Tanzania. And I do not expect any incident in any way as a result of this small idea about business permits. And this is something, as I said, it will be resolved amicably.
Now, the battle for the Malava parliamentary seat is heating up, with political heavyweights ramping up their campaigns ahead of the highly anticipated by-election. Well, Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi and his allies held strategy meetings over the weekend, signaling a major push from the ruling UDA camp. While at the same time, opposition-affiliated parties are now facing internal dilemmas, with each faction preparing to field its own candidate, risking a split vote in what is becoming an increasingly crowded race. As Apollo Kamau reports, this contest is shaping up to be a fierce test of political influence and regional supremacy.
Ahead of the highly staked Malava by-election, expected to gain momentum this weekend, when rival parties pitch camp in the populous constituency, Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi is leaving nothing to chance to recapture the seat through UDA after meeting more than 70 teachers from the constituency, where he campaigned for UDA's yet-to-be-named aspirant.
You must give direction. You must start shaping the narrative at the grassroots. Because you are listened to. Your voice is not a joke. The voice of the people in this room and the several others, thousands that have been left in Malava, is so significant. Look for that person who can be trusted, honest, somebody who can take care of CDF funds.
Na Mungu akubariki katika safari hii. Yule ambaye utawekea mkono, tuko nyuma yako, tutakuunga mkono, tuko tayari kutembea na wewe katika hii safari.
UDA is facing off with opposition parties, pushing to end Mudavadi's dominance in the region, where UDA has been accused of bribing voters by the Democratic National Alliance Party DNA, which has roots in Western Kenya.
Kule Malava, serikali imemwaga pesa. Wameingia huko kwa uongo, barabara ambazo zilikuwa zimeachwa wanataka kuanza kutengeneza. Mnaona delegations wanafanyia campaign Nairobi hapa kwa railways. Mnaona State House watu wanapelekwa pesa wanamwaga. Naambia watu wa Malava, hizo ni pesa zenu, waongeze, mkule, mmalize. Lakini mnapofika kwa uchaguzi, muangalie kwa makini, uangalie candidate kwa makini, uangalie je huyu atatusaidia tukimchagua.
DNA, your voice, your power. DNA on Friday unveiled its Malava aspirant, Joab Manyasi, who came third in the 2022 poll after Seth Panyako and Malulu Ijendi, a headache for the opposition, where parties are split on nominations and fielding candidates.
If some people are having a problem with how to field their candidate, that is a problem that they will address and possibly sort out, and they will catch up with us on the campaign trail. The journey has begun. There's no looking back. We are not aware of any joint nominations or anything like that.
Despite a fallout in the DAP Kenya ranks, DAP party leader Eugene Wamalwa and Trans Nzoia Governor George Natembeya maintain the party's candidate is former Kenya Union of Nurses Secretary General Seth Panyako.
We believe that as a united opposition, it will be easier for us to secure that Malava seat. Wakati mwingine mkipoa wengi mnagawa kura alafu watu wengine wanapita katikati. So those conversations have started. Tuone kama tunaweza kuwa na candidate moja ambayo yuko strong. But pia kama haiwezekani, sisi tutaenda kule on the ground kama DAP.
Also in the race is former DP Rigathi Gachagwa's DCP party, whose campaigns are led by party deputy leader Cleophas Malala. Apul Kamau, TV47.
All right, now, as the country's elderly population grows, many are increasingly neglected with few care homes, a lack of regulatory legislation and limited access to proper nutrition. Now, older adults, particularly in rural areas, are left vulnerable. Many survive without income, health care or dignity in their final years. And Odida tells us more.
At Nairobi's Kasarani Little Sisters Nyumba ya Wazee is home to 55 elderly persons, each with a unique story etched in time.
It could be that they found themselves on their own, maybe not in the area where they were born and grew up, but because of circumstances they have moved around, looked for work here and there, and they may find themselves growing old in a corner where there are no family and no connection.
For Mzee Lucas Indoto, a national of Burundi, for instance, ending up at Nyumba ya Wazee is what he calls a miracle.
Mahali nilikuwa nimeandikwa kupewa kazi, kukata miti kule juu kama hii miti mrefu, natoka juu naanguka chini hivi namna hii. Sasa ni kutoka siku hiyo, nikawa nakaa na nikiwa mgonjwa, lakini our sister walikuja wakanikuta huko Sabasaba.
But caring for the elderly here comes with challenges, particularly when it comes to nutrition. The cost and availability of protein-based foods essential for aging bodies is a constant struggle.
And old people, they still need to keep their muscle mass, so they need protein. So they like their milk, they like maziwalala, yogurts, chicken, some pork, some beef. They like all those meats, and that is what really we lack.
Because of that, we felt like with this time we need to spend time with them, and we came with many other partners, so that at least we are doing here a medical camp this morning. We're also doing some cookings and also giving some health talks.
And yet, the elderly remain an often neglected demographic. According to the 2019 Kenya Population and Housing Census, persons aged 65 and above made up 3.9% of the total population, which translates to approximately 1.86 million people. In contrast, United Nations data estimates that around 2.74 million people in Kenya are aged 60 and above, accounting for roughly 5% of the population. Despite the growing elderly population, the country's infrastructure and policy frameworks have struggled to keep up, leaving many older adults without the support they need.
Population aging is a global phenomenon that is going on, and we are not prepared for it. And our population in the older person has almost doubled and is going to be really out of preps by the time we get to 2050.
The gaps are glaring, with the country having no dedicated act of parliament addressing the rights of older persons and no trained geriatric caregivers. The country also has very few functional nursing homes, most of which depend on charity.
Resources are also limited. But those are areas that I'm sure the government right now is thinking on how to prioritize those kind of homes.
Elderly persons in informal settlements face an even bleaker reality.
Nursing homes is not something really as a government that we have put in places, but there are programs like Inua Wazee program, Jamii ya Wazee, where the government is supporting those kind of programs. And I'm sure moving forward, nursing homes will become a priority because this population is increasing.
We have the act that is being pushed for. And in that policy, we want to address the unique needs. We want the population to understand the uniqueness of the older person.
The collective call is for a national approach that recognizes and protects the elderly not just as a social burden, but as human beings who deserve dignity, safety, and specialized care.
There are many people, especially only those people who are in formal employment, have a pension. Majority of the people who are in the informal sector do not have any pension, and that is a big problem. And in fact, less than 25% of Kenyans have got a formal pension. So majority of the people retire into poverty.
Ann Odida, TV 47.
All right, so let's now take a look at some business news. And leaders in Kenya's manufacturing sector are calling for urgent financial reforms to help industries grow and compete globally. While speaking during the Kenya Association of Manufacturers CEO Forum, CEO Tobias Orlando emphasized the need for a long-term affordable financial tools that match production timelines and reduce the risks of investing in primary processing. Now, with manufacturing currently contributing just 7.3% to Kenya's GDP, banks like NCBA have pledged support through value chain financing and ecosystem partnerships as the sector seeks to bounce back collaboration between government financiers and manufacturers. Of course, that's seen to be a key to unlocking the industry's potential. A truck driver and his tent boy have been arraigned in Kisumu for attempting to smuggle 8,750 litres of ethanol, dodging taxes worth 8.4 million shillings. Salim Otieno Ooko and Joseph Odhiambo were intercepted at Nyamasaria on the Kisumu-Nairobi highway on July 23rd with 35 barrels of ethanol hidden in their truck. Now, they pleaded not guilty to charges of possession and concealment of restricted goods under the EAC Customs Management Act and Excise Duty Act 2025. The two were released on a 500,000 shillings bond, with the case scheduled to be heard on the 29th of September. KRA says it is intensifying its crackdown on tax evasion across the country. Okay, so at least we're done with the first part of the show tonight. Of course, now the second part, ndo maneno inakuanga tam. But of course, we have the sporting action. Willis is also coming up shortly. And of course, our guest tonight, Nick Kwach, is in the building. Mulimona akiongea tu kijaka. I'm yet to know exactly what he was talking about. Maybe alinitukana na sijui. So you know what? So let's take a short commercial break. I'm coming back. Don't go away.
Is changing every day, and so should we, for the better. Each week, we tackle the big why, the question that should be on everyone's minds. Why isn't this fixed yet? Deforestation, global warming, and the adverse effects of climate change. The future isn't just something that we inherit, it's something that we create. Join us on The Green Fix as we tell the stories of those who refuse to give up. When it comes to fixing the planet, there is no time to waste. Join me, Shiksha Arora, on Thursdays at 9 p.m. on The Green Fix as we look into the big why, you and I.
For comprehensive information and education on your health, Body Garage is here.
Don't allow anyone to pluck out your good tooth as long as it is strong and stable.
Cancer doesn't start today and you get the symptoms tomorrow. By the time you pick it or the time it is manifesting in you, probably will be there about 5 to 10 years.
The eye is the window to the rest of the body.
Don't forget to stay hydrated.
And of course, you at home do take your water.
So the ultimate test is actually you check your urine. Your urine should be clear.
Clear like the water?
Yes. Should be able to see the other side of the urine. If your urine is colored or has changed color, you cannot see the other side, then you have not taken enough water.
Don't forget regular health checkups. Early detection saves lives.
I want the message be, we can prevent cervical cancer. We prevent cervical cancer in several ways. You have young girls and even somebody who's above that age, you can pay at least every 3 years. Somebody should have a pap smear done.
If you are 40, 45, 50, going upward, once a year, please go see a doctor. Yeah, it's just for normal routine maintenance.
Hey there, friends. Welcome to Kids on the Block, where fun and imagination come alive.
All right, and welcome back. Welcome back to this Friday. Of course, on Fridays, we normally have, a bit more smiles. All right, so let's move on now to some sporting action. And the much anticipated new trophy for the 2024 African Nations Championship CHAN was officially unveiled in Uganda just hours before the tournament kicks off. Now, the reveal of the CHAN Pamoja 2024 title brought together 3 of Africa's football legends: Kenya's Victor Wanyama, Uganda's Dennis Onyango, and Tanzania's Mrisho Ngasa. The championship begins on Saturday with the opening ceremony at the Benjamin Mkapa Stadium in Dar es Salaam, followed by the curtain-raiser clash between Tanzania and Burkina Faso. On Sunday, all eyes turn to Kasarani Stadium in Nairobi, where Harambee Stars will face Congo.
Our world is changing every day, and so should we, for the better. Each week,
Definitely looking forward
the big why,
to that.
Question that should be on
all right, moving on.
Mind.
Kenyan football legend Dennis "The Menace" Oliech is back in the spotlight, this time as the official brand ambassador for the 2024 African Nations Championship. Now, the announcement was made at a high-profile breakfast event held at Kasarani just a day before the continental tournament kicks off across Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. Oliech's appointment as CHAN Pamoja 2024 ambassador marks a powerful moment for Kenya's football scene as the country's all-time top scorer now rallies national pride and unity ahead of the East African hosted championship.
See, it is a small contribution, but your talents were able to unite all Kenyans across regions, across political persuasions, and across all other divides.
I'm glad to hear that majority are already still in football, either as coaches, assistant coaches. In the future, we hope you'll be physicians. Former footballers can also be nutritionists. The ecosystem of football is big.
When a president push that spirit to come again in football. I was live when Koromaya won Cup Winners' Cup hapa 1987.
Then to crown it all, ni sasa Dennis Oliech kukuwa like our ambassador during this period of CHAN because it has never also happened. And Dennis Oliech has done a lot.
All right, let's now move on to final day of the Term 2 games, and the Kenya National Secondary School Sevens rugby games concluded today, paving the way for tomorrow's highly anticipated football finals at the Mumias Complex Sports Hall. Attention now turns to the boys and girls football showdowns. The boys final will feature a much anticipated clash between Jobo and Musingu, while Butere girls are set to take on Madera in what promises to be a thrilling girls final. Our sports reporter Nzuki Allen has the latest from Mumias.
St. Peter's Mumias were officially crowned the new National High School Rugby Sevens champions after outwitting Koyonzo High 14 points to 12 in a mesmerizing final encounter at the Bullring Arena.
Tumecheza nao miaka nenda miaka rudi. Mwaka huu ni mara ya 3 tunacheza nao. Mara ya 4. Jana walinipiga kwenye mechi ya mwisho ya makundi. Nikajua ni sawa, tutapatana njiani, tutarekebisha makosa yetu na tumerekebisha, Mungu ametuwezesha kushinda.
Defending girls football champions Butere Girls continued with their hunt for a third consecutive national title after they outwitted Kobala Girls 3-0 and will take on Madira Girls in a high-stakes final encounter tomorrow.
To the final for the 3rd time in a row in 3 consecutive years. We are going for the trophy. The girls are psyched up. Where we are coming from has been tough, but now we are only remaining with 1 step. That is the final for the trophy. We are ready for any team and we are going for the trophy.
Meanwhile, in the boys category, St. Joseph Boys Kitale secured a 3-0 win over Agai Mixed Secondary School and will tomorrow take on local favorites Musingu High in a mouth-watering boys final encounter. Badminton, Nyanda region's Cynthia Kariuki cut herself a ticket into the East African Games after exemplary performance throughout the pool games.
Happy because last year I was defeated at the final, but now I have made it. I went back home to school, determined myself that I will make it this year to East African, and I have made it. And I want to assure my Kenyan that I will take the podium back to Kenya. Yeah.
Those were the scenes today in the National High School Games, with the competitions expected to draw to a conclusion tomorrow, right here in Kakamega County. Reporting for TV47 Sports, my name is Alan Nzuki.
All right, so you know what? Nakwambia napelekwanga mbio. Umegundua. Man, it's so good to have, of course, Nick Watch Manze, and you've been making, you know, headlines, unajua. From humble, yani ulikuwa mseule, yani tulikuwa tunaona yani video zako na AC.
Yes. Yes.
Marcus, Baba Ryan.
Yes.
And then right now, Manze, you're filling up, you know, the theaters and shows and everything. How does it feel? Anyway, when it's star.
Feels amazing. Feels amazing. You know, everyone is dreaming to be there. Bado lakini tunaiona pale.
But now ni kama yani like every day ni kama kutakuwa na kitu about you like it's just trending. Like are you not funny like in Hebu kwanza nichekeshe tu saizi first of all.
By the way, let me tell
me
you,
something
the worst thing to ever do to a comedian is to tell them nichekeshe sahi.
Lakini kama nichekesha online. Shida ni nini hapa sahi?
No, it's crazy. You will find that takuchekesha at some point in the nini, but nichekeshe sahi is usually like the highest pressure.
But basi, kwanza that is the pressure.
Yeah.
But unajua leo kwanza ni girlfriend's day. Umechekesha, sasa kusema my baby mama. What have you done for your girlfriends today? Ama kuna girlfriend hata?
That's a good question. That's a good way to attack that question. So what have you done for your girlfriend today? That's assuming, let's go past ukona girlfriend.
Ukona girlfriend, what have you done?
No, umeniweka kwa nini? Yeah, this is such a... You know, today was just another normal...
Stop shaking your leg. You're even nervous
just
about
another normal. Yeah, because in my head I'm like, hey. So what do people normally do? Because I find that ladies mkona kama 6 special days in a year. And I've not talked about the anniversaries and your birthdays and I've just talked about the International Women's Day, Girlfriend's Day, sijui Mother's Day.
Pia kuna Father's Day, kuna International Day of the Boy Child.
No.
They are not celebrated to the extent.
And when do we ever hear ati amekupatia nini leo for International Men's Day ama sijui nini? It's always about the ladies, but ladies are nini.
But we are sweet, we are sweet, but we also both men and women should be celebrated. So wewe usijali, so leo celebrate nani? Acha na kuhepa hiyo story. Leo celebrate nani?
Leo sija celebrate mtu, but naendelea kuomba. Next year time kama saa hii nipate vibaya.
Kwa hivyo uko vibaya bro, unachekesha uko watu online kumbe uko manze home uko vibaya.
Yani hebu wakae chini. Wakenya mkae chini muone venye nitakaa poa.
Okay, so you know what? We're going to continue with our conversation. But tunajua ule msee wetu anaitwanga Willis Ochieng ule